G'day, my name is Derek Cam, founder of 4x4 Adventure WA. Welcome to my channel. For some of you probably noticed I do a bit of four-wheel drive off-road adventure, usually a weekend adventure. But also part of my interest is welding and metal work and fabrication, basically things like that. I love welding because it allows you to change the metal physical properties, and you basically glue them together. And you can use welding skill to make whatever you like, especially that's related to automotive industry as well. Welcome to my new shed. I've been waiting for this moment for so long. I had a hiccup with building a shed last year, so finally this is all done, and I'm very glad this is done too. As you can see, there's nothing in my shed apart from my mowing equipment and my camping gear, my light as well, things like that. There's nothing, it's empty. I'll show you in this series how I built my shed from scratch. So today I will start from my welding table used for welding. So after you've got a welding table, you can basically start working on your stuff on this welding table, and it's just much easier, a lot more convenient as well. I've got some grinders disc, flapping disc, different grids as well. One is 40, just to remove materials. Did I get both 40s? 4 casters, and they're heavy duty casters, metal, so it won't flat, or it's not really flat, but it won't change its shape over time when it's set for so long. Some angle lines, they're 3mm thick. We've got some, what is this? Flat bar. Flat bar, that is 5mm, actually 6mm. 6mm in thickness. That's very heavy duty. That's going to be a bench top. Now, these are basically very universal 50x50 square tube. And they are thin square tube as well. They're like 1.5 or 1.6, and all up is probably about $600. So you kind of get the idea. But if you commercially sort of buy a welding table online, even online, it probably costs more than $1,000. So I reckon it may be pretty worthwhile to make it yourself, unless you don't know how to do welding. I've taken an advice from one of the welding channels to put a light on top of the helmet. So basically, you get some light when you, whenever you look at anything, whichever weld you sort of start doing. I think it's probably a really good idea to have something like this on your welding helmet. Now, I hope I can show you in a better way. Maybe I'll show you the one in the computer, but anyway, you kind of get the idea. So this represents an RHS 50x50. They're basically all made of 50x50, apart from the bench top. So please be patient. So this is basically about this long, 700, and this is probably 700 as well, 700, and this is around 1400 inside. The whole bench is 1500 long. Probably write it down, it's better. So from here to there is 1500. So just for my information. So basically the flat bars, they need to be 1500. So this is the wrong calculation. So 1500, they basically go on top of the frame, the 50x50 frame. So in which case, whatever you see in here, this line represents an L bracket. So they're basically all L brackets. An L bracket is there to increase the structural integrity, or it makes the flat bar a little bit more structural. Otherwise, the whole flat bar actually flexes on there. Mind you, there is no support in here. In fact, I changed my design. Originally, I thought I'm going to put some universal column, the I-beams. So they are pretty structural. Now, because I can't get them, I have to change them to flat bars. So here we go. Flat bars, but flat bars itself is not structural, and that's why I have to use some L brackets to increase the structural strength of the of the flat bar on the bench top. So to do that, I'm going to minus 100 from there, which is 1400 of the L bracket. So this is basically all the things I need, and then I'm going to cut all these out, and at the end I'll tack weld them and do the finish welds. Righto, so after around maybe half an hour to 45 minutes of cutting, finally I present to you these the raw materials of my welding table. Anyway, prepare welding, and it obviously involves a lot of what do you call them? Grinding. So grinding the corners, bevel them, so obviously it allows more space to put your weld in, so it has a better welding quality, things like that. So I'll do that now. Righto. So the welds, not really the welds, the preparation of welding has been done. And I'm losing a bit of light at the moment, so I don't know. I might use my light in the garage, in my shed, and my headlight as well to try to tack some weld tonight. And I'm not sure if I can actually do any finished weld today. But anyway, it has been prepped and ready to go. Let's see what happens. Alright, back again, day 2. Still trying to build this welding table. So last night I spent a little bit of time trying to do this. If you like, I'm not sure if you can see it, check this out. Just checking to see, let you see what I've done yesterday. These are the the flat bars that I've done yesterday, and these are all still tack welded. So I'll have to do a finish weld in all of that, and some of them have been cleaned up. And some of them hasn't. So I'll try to finish this today. And you might see you might be wondering, the flat bars, I've got some angle lines under there, so it increases the structural side of things, so it makes it stronger, and these are all tack welded. And then I'll evenly distribute them. Now, one thing I've noticed yesterday, when you weld it, you might have moved them slightly, and when it sort of all adds up together, I've got this, I'm not sure you can see it, this is about 10 mil off the ground, and hopefully I can fix it by putting some spaces down there, so hopefully it becomes a non-staggering table. So, well, let's see what happens today, eh? Alright, looks, the sun is starting to go down. But anyway, it's not going to affect my process. So I've tack welded all these pieces and cleaned up all the beads as well. So as you can see, they're not perfect. Some of them have actually quite a fair bit of porosity. So my welding is not perfect. I'm just a beginner. So if any one of you can sort of spot my my problem and related to skills, yeah, do let me know. I'm trying to improve my welding. So anyway, I'm going to do some finished welding. Hopefully I'll get something done today. Alright folks, welcome to day 3 of my little home project. Well, as you can see the welding table down there, I'm not sure if you can see it, the camera is following my face. Okay, so the welding table down there is basically close to completion, and I need to put some more, some casters on there so it is not as difficult to move around. Well, welding table needs to be easy to move around because I suppose depends on the workplace. At home, I prefer it to be able to move around. So I've laid down some finished welding yesterday. I'm not sure if this is how you call it. Most of them are pretty amateur welds, so don't laugh about it. I'm still learning, but occasionally I do get some really good welds. So we'll check them out. I've actually ground some welds out, some really bad ones, and you sort of want to know what's under there. If I've got porosity, sort of want to see how I went, and I think that's pretty much about it. And maybe I'll just proceed to putting the casters on. I'll show you in a second. Now, basically this morning before I start the camera, you see those really. I've ground some welds, and I believe these are really bad welds. And you see, that's actually not too bad. If you can focus it, please, for me. Not sure if you can focus, but yeah, okay. So these are actually not too bad. Occasional porosity, but it could have been a lot better, obviously. So something like these. These are just ridiculous if you can actually see it, and I don't even want to bother opening up and have a look. As I sort of kept going last night, my weld sort of got a little bit better. These are still yet to be cleaned up. Heaps of flux on it. Alright folks, I'll show you some welds that I think is much better last night. So basically, as I kept going, I weld the top first, and then I flip the bench upside down and do the bottom. And I've done a couple of, actually a few really good welds. Well, I think that is quite good. Now this one there is not too bad. It's a great improvement from what's on the top. As you can see, they are sort of spread out a little bit, and the weld actually formed a better, what do you call that? An arc. The arc sort of spray out in a better spread out distribution, and I consider this as a better weld. But as you can see, there are still some craters there, and it's not that uniform. For welding table, it's pretty much okay. Now this one is even better. Check this out. How's that? So mind you, these few welds are basically the last bit of weld I've done last night. When you're using a make gun, you have to sort of go slow and move fast gradually over time. Because the fact that even though you've got a really perfect setting of the voltage and wire speed, I found that you still have to manually adjust the heat by using your welding torch. So at the start, you sort of circulate a little bit, so to make sure it is hot enough to form a really nice liquidy weld. So and to the point that you actually can see through your welding helmet. So sort of start slow and you gradually do a circulate motion and move a little bit faster over time. And I found that way it becomes a little bit more uniform. Instead of the chunky bit at the start, and then it becomes really nice and it sort of burns a hole at the end of the weld. So that's basically what I found, and I'm going to, I'm going to spend some time cleaning up all these welds, and finally we'll put some caster on. Righto, so we have come to the last step of this project. It's the casters. So basically I'm going to weld all these casters on the bottom of the legs. To do that, I've cut out some flat bars. These are the 6mm flat bars, the remaining of it. They are about the same size, well actually a little bit, they're about the same size as the plate of the cast iron casters. So what I'll be doing, I'll just be putting these under the legs as a bit of a surface, and then what I'll do is to weld this caster on top of it through the holes. So we'll see what happens. And also what you notice as well, there is a bit of error, either from measurement or from the welding process. So as you can see, the error is actually quite big collectively. That's about 10 mil in there. So as you can see, I've got 6, but not 4. I've got 6 of these. I've planned to use an extra one of these on either side from there and there, and maybe grind off a mil thickness of it and see what happens. Alright guys, here comes the final step. When I say final, it's the final step. You see the casters. That's how I'm going to mount them. I'm going to put welds, probably just very simple spot welds in the 4 holes. And I've fixed the imbalance by putting double plate in either end, diagonal end of this leg. Whereas this and that one, they're only just single layer of plate. Now anyway, so I'm going to weld these holes, and basically after that, the welding table is finished. And well, basically what's after this is just more welding footage. So I'll probably just I will not film it, and I'll just let you have a look at the end, the complete product. Righto, welding table is completed. Well, I mean, it's pretty all right, isn't it? I'm pretty happy with that. The ground sections I've painted, so it won't get rusted. There are still some sections I need to tidy up. They are just flux, you know. I'm really quite tired at the moment. I've spent like the past 2.5 days working on this project. It ain't pretty, but this will work. That's all I needed. Well, that concludes this video, welding table, fabrication, welding 101. So I'm not a very experienced welder. I've done some small projects in the past for furniture, but my skill is developing. So every time I do my welding, my weld quality actually improves, and I'm actually thinking of getting some shooting gears as well to further improve the quality of welds. Anyway, so what do you think about this welding table? Well, I've changed my design slightly because of the things I can't get, but there you go. I mean, this is a pretty nice table. Tell me what you think, comment down below. And yes, this is my new playlist about fabrication and welding. I hope that helps you, spark you some idea, things like that. And I'll put more adventure video in the future in another playlist. That hasn't stopped yet. It's just I want to really start doing start my hobby about fabrication, and in the future I might build something that is car related. So if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel 4x4 Adventure WA. You can also find us on social media using the same keyword, and don't forget to follow my new page, Adventure Welder. I'll see you there. Thank you for your support. Goodbye.